What's up, guys, and welcome back to Book of Entertainment. So there is a witness, a forensic expert for the state that was testifying in court at the Senzo meyiwa trial. But this witness, he was forgetting, some key events that had occurred during his own time. So the issue that is there is that he was forgotten about this, and the defense had now been questioning him about what he had forgotten about.
Now, Colonel, on my last question, you testified that on the 17th of June 2020, you attended upon Pretoria North Police Station to take measurements from accused number 2. Is that correct?
That's correct, Molo.
And initially, when Mr. Mgomezulu examined you, you said on that morning you had met Colonel Gininda at the Pretoria North Police Station, but later in the afternoon you said you now do not remember or recall whether Colonel Gininda was there. You remember that evidence?
As a court, please, my lord. The witness has always been clear from the beginning that he did receive a call from Brigadier Gininda on the 17th of June 2020, but he never said that he met him at Pretoria North Police Station.
My lord, I listened to the evidence when Mr. Mgomezulu was leading this witness. I'm not thumbsucking what I'm telling, the proposition that I'm putting to the court. He said in the afternoon, he said, I received a call from Colonel Gininda. First, it was Valeria in respect of accused number 1 on a different date. And then secondly, it was on the 17th of June 2020. I received a call from Colonel Gininda to go and do the same exercise. And on that morning, I met Colonel Gininda. That's what Mr. Mgomezulu took him through.
Yeah, fine.
Then after lunch, he came, yes. Now,
tell me, what is the relevance of this?
The relevance of
because this witness tells you that he's not certain.
Yes.
Is that not your qualification? I can't remember. That's correct, Master.
Yeah, but the relevance thereof, my lord, will remember from the witnesses that were present when accused number 2 was interrogated in the boardroom on the 17th.
Yeah, so?
Accused number 2 says Gininda was there. The witnesses said not. So it's important in respect to that aspect, my lord.
So in this video, I want to look at how, the defense, especially Advocate Ramsipili, should have shown Judge Ratha, the relevance of this witness forgetting these key moments. This is directly linked to credibility. Ramsipili should have emphasized it more strongly, and the relevance lies in this witness shifting recollection of events on a key date. Because how can you shift the recollection of your own memory, because this witness, he was simply uncertain about who they met, when they met them. So to me, it raises questions about the reliability of their memory, regarding other details of the investigations. Because the key issue is that if you forget about that, what other things have you forgotten about, when it comes to these investigations? Because as for me, there's no way I'm going to be trusting you in terms of handling and analysis of the evidence in itself if you are showing me signs of not being able to remember who you met and what time you even met them. Not the time, specifically the time, but was it in the morning? Was it after the call? These are key events that the witness should actually remember. So another thing that is happening is that accused number 2 actually claimed that Colonel Gininda was there, whilst other witnesses, are disputing this. Now, this witness's initial recollection of meeting Colonel Gininda that morning, he was still Colonel Gininda, right now he's now Brigadier Gininda. Followed by their later uncertainty, it becomes relevant in assessing the overall accuracy and consistency of the accounts surrounding the events of that day and the potential influence or presence of key figures. The relevance, another thing that Advocate Ramsipili could have touched on was framing it as a foundation for later arguments, by pointing it out right now, he can then use it later on when he is pointing inconsistencies that will be unraveling in questioning this witness. He would have just like pointed it out, in broader argument that this inconsistency in the witness memories contributes like to a larger picture that we intend to present, regarding the circumstances of the investigation and the reliability of the evidence gathered. Because the purpose of the defense, it is to point out, inconsistencies in the witness's testimony. That's the point of it, It's actually to show that this witness does not know what he's talking about. That's the relevance of questioning the witness. So it's a little bit disappointing, that Ramsipili did not like point out, the relevance of that issue, because the focus on the timeline and sequence of the events, Ramsipili could have like pointed out and highlighted the importance of establishing an accurate timeline. It's very, very important, to understand the sequence of the events on that day. It's very, very critical. The witnesses' interaction or lack of with Brigadier Geninda that morning, it sheds light on the coordination and involvement of different individuals at a crucial stage of that investigation. So it was very important, to like articulate that discrepancy, of that witness not like clearly remembering. It actually matters to the court's understanding of the case by directly linking it to the witness credibility, conflicting testimony, the timeline of events, or a broader defense argument. They could have made the relevance much clearer to the judge. So by Judge Ratha, questioning, he had actually questioned and said, what's the relevance of that? So there was actually a need to show that there is a connection to a bigger issue that is occurring here in court. And another thing is that the defense, could have also used it later on just as a tactic, to unsettle the witness, just lightly. Take, for example, the defense, they start questioning the witness, and the defense just throws the line and just be like, oh no, you've forgotten, about this and that, just like we did about the timeline of the events. You've forgotten about this part. Then that's when the witness will start to get into a defensive mode, to be like, no, I didn't forget. Then as the defense advocate, you remind the witness that, no, you've forgotten something else, and you've forgotten again. You get it, right? So it's just about a back and forth, trying to undermine the credibility of the witness. That is the purpose of the cross-examination in itself. It's about revealing inconsistencies in the testimony of the witness. Tell me what you think, like any other points, that the defense could have used to indicate the relevance of the witness forgetting about the timeline of the events. I'll catch you guys on the next one.